And we're live on Facebook, that is. If you guys haven't watched us live before, we have to do this little buffer just to make sure everything gets recorded correctly and we get the whole podcast to be put on iTunes and all the other places. So thanks for watching, and we're going to get started here in a second. Let me just verify that the feed is up and going. You guys want to say hi?
Hello.
Be all quiet back there. That's your voice from last. You were the cat last week. That was the same voice. You used the same voice, man. Okay, yeah, we're good. So, all right, let's get this party started. And thanks for watching, guys. Welcome to Autographers Anonymous, a place where we discuss our addiction to the greatest hobby in the world. Let's go around the room.
What's up, guys? It's Mike from the Autograph Network, aka The Godfather, and we're like Disney Plus. We're live and streaming today.
This is Chase from Chase and Ink, and I already have up my Christmas tree.
You pretty much stole mine, man. I'm Zane Savage, and I'm dreaming of TTMs for Christmas. So we pretty much had the same idea on the intro. Whatever.
Yeah,
we'll move on to new returns. Mikey.
All right. Got some cool stuff in. I would show something I got from Scott over at Reindeer Studios, who we have featured him on the podcast before, but unfortunately they are sold already. He sent me 2 more sketches he got signed. If you don't know what we're talking about, Scott sketches drawings of like athletes, sends them off, tells them to keep them, and gets a couple things signed. And he had Ron Guidry and Chris Spire sign and send back the sketches. So he donated them to Autographs for a Cure. They've already been uploaded and sold. To date, thanks to Scott, I'll be making close to a $75 donation to the Cancer Center just off of his sketches. So that's awesome. Thank you, Scott, over at Reindeer Studios. That's awesome that you donated those. So, and got this in just to show you guys. This is the Orlando Health Foundation. And when I make a donation, I get one of these letters. So this is, just want to show you this real quick, let you guys know this is legit. I get these in when I make donations. This was Kenneth Collins, the B-2 bomb or S.1 bomber pilot from Area 51, who sent a donation directly to the foundation through me. So got that letter in. Just want to let you guys know that Autographs for a Cure, when you guys do donate something and I sell it, it goes to the Cancer Foundation. I did get something in from Slab City, who is a sponsor of the podcast, and it's very interesting. This was the November submission. It came back real quick, which is surprising, but had a couple things done. And this is a napkin signed by Evil Knievel, and it is authenticated. It's in a monster slab. I think it was $15 for the authentication on this, and then $3 extra for the larger slab. But paid $12 for that napkin off eBay, $15 slabbed and authenticated. Now, the interesting one that came back, if you guys have watched the show before, we did a case against
Fake news.
Against Bob Dole.
Fake news.
So there's the signature.
And we talked about this. If you have a tainted pool of authentic autographs to authenticate with, you authenticate wrongly.
This says it's authentic from PSA DNA.
They just forgot to put the Elizabeth in front of the bar. This is Bob Dole.
So I did this after we did the case against just to see, and it came back authentic. So
yeah.
Hey.
It's amazing how you can barely sign one day and then sign perfectly the next. It's beautiful.
He's got one working arm and whatever. Anyways, came back authentic from PSA.
Hey, you need to post that to the fails up there on there's a Star Tiger thread right now that Chase let me know about. It's about PSA fails. That should go up there.
Fail. All right. Did get some TTMs in. So let's do this. Kathy Kirsch. She was in the original Batman series. And a little side note, she was actually married to Burt Ward, who played Robin. She signed 4, which I've been sending 4 because a couple of them are going for autographs for a year. And old school ding. There you go. Ding. Old school. This was a cool return. This is a Medal of Honor winner. And this is James Fleming. And anytime you get a Medal of Honor winner, that's pretty cool. They got some amazing stories if you want to look him up. James Fleming, Vietnam Medal of Honor winner. Sent this one because if you read his story, relates to that. The helicopter. Sent a couple extras. This is a postcard with the Medal of Honor and some information, and also a very cool business card signed.
Those will be on eBay next week, by the way.
Yeah, sure. This one I sent to New York, where he is a very famous Broadway star and normally known for AutoPen. But taking a closer look at these look legit. Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Hey, are you going to be posting one of those on autographs for a year?
Maybe. There he is in Hamilton. Thought this was a cool shot from Sesame Street when he was a guest star.
Too bad Carol Spinney's not signing anymore.
And
right?
Yeah, I don't think he is anymore. And he was in the Disney movie Moana. But when I got him back, I was like, "Oh, great! I got the auto pen." But they're definitely different and look like live ink. So got lucky. Signing 4. This is Jim Dale, and he's an old actor, voice actor, but I mainly got him because he does some voice work for the audiobooks for Harry Potter. So I got a couple Harry Potter things signed, and then a couple things he was actually in, a couple of movies. Next, a little tip for you guys. If you guys are sports fans, I got a couple Tampa Bay Lightning players, and they're prospects. They were up on the main roster. This is Nolan Foote. He's actually got his brother. I'll show that in a minute. But he got sent down to the minors. So if you guys follow a team and you're fans and these guys get sent down, try them at the minor league level because they are usually better signers than they are at the pro level.
On that note, Victor Oladipo is going to be sent down to the G League, I think, in the next week or two. So they might send to the G League affiliate of the Pacers.
There you
Just
go.
a heads up.
Yep. Try and get them early because a lot of these guys, if they turn out to something, big time, they're much harder to get. So that was Nolan Foote. I'll show his brother in just a minute.
Well, Oladipo is actually already an all-star. He's in rehab. Like he got injured, so he's going down to start back up and kind of build his way back up. So that's another tip. If guys get injured, they sometimes rehab in those places, and sometimes you can get them there.
Exactly. It's almost like via venue. For professional baseball players, if they get sent down, it's usually in the AA or AAA level. They're there for a couple weeks worth a shot. This is Ingrid Groot, old actress. Like I said, I've been on this kick where I'm trying to get these old actresses before they pass away. But The Killer Shrews, old time movie, and I believe she was Miss Sweden. So again, old school ding. Wouldn't be a show if I didn't get an astronaut in. So here is Lauren Shriver. Pretty cool. He actually carried the Olympic torch in Atlanta. What was that? The 96 games. So there he is in front of one of the space shuttles with the torch. So that's pretty cool.
Fun fact, those used to be very rare, the torches, I guess. And as years have gone by, I watched this on Pawn Stars the other day. As years went by, like they've doubled the amount of people that carry the torch. So now it's actually a pretty common item to find a torch that's been used in the Olympics because it's like doubled almost every year. The amount. It's like in the thousands. It's like I think it's like 10,000 or something now. It's like crazy amount.
Do they get to keep them?
Yeah, you get to keep them if you carry it.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that.
Yep.
So here we go. I'll just go through my typical spiel. Generic space shuttle launch, portrait, and something in space. That's a cool shot, eating like Skittles or something, and they're floating in 0G. This one, huge return because he just doesn't sign, or if he does, no one ever writes to him.
Jim Koufax again.
No, Jim Cummings. He's a very talented voice actor. On this one, Darkwing Duck, Winnie the Pooh, Tigger. There's a Winnie the Pooh shot. But I wrote to him because he voices Hondo Anaka in the Star Wars cartoons. It's also the featured character at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge here in Orlando and also in California. So this shot is actually from the queue, and the animatronic is awesome. So that is a shot of the animatronic, and it's based off Hondo. It's pretty awesome. He also sent me a nice little note here with a couple little hand-drawn sketches. So Winnie the Pooh and some character names. So pretty awesome from an actor you don't see returns from much. Walter Hill, director, writer, Brewster's Millions. He did a couple other films, The Warriors, and I think something else. I got one of those posted, I think, or set to be posted on Autographs for a Cure. I showed Nolan Foote earlier, and this is his brother, who also plays for the Tampa Bay Lightning, Calvin Foote. Again, a
couple of feet there.
Yep, 2 feet. So minor league success. They got sent down. They'll definitely be on the main roster in years to come. So, like I said, get them while you can. Get them early. This was a resend I sent late in a season last year, but this is Ike Hilliard. I think he's a special teams coach for maybe the Washington Redskins, a former New York Giant. And last one, again, just an old school pitcher, Gigi Puri. This is old Abbott and Costello. Dance with Me. So she was in that, but she was also in Bedtime for Bonzo, the old chimpanzee TV show, child actress.
No, those Amazon prints.
These are, yes.
Yeah, they look pretty sharp. I don't know if it's just me. They look nicer than the old ones.
Maybe it's, yeah, I mean, I'm super happy with the quality, and the speed is phenomenal. Like I'm exclusively on Amazon right now just because I can order photos, and with Prime you get free shipping and the turnaround time a couple days.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So
yep.
Other than that, let's see. I think that's pretty much it. Kind of a slow week for TTM. So
John Snyder has a question for you. Are they the sons of Adam Foote?
I'm not sure. I think there's a third brother, and
there's a third Foote.
Yeah, I think it might be. I think he's the oldest brother, Adam Foote, and I think those are the 2 younger brothers. So
okay, all right. Well, let's move on to Chase. What you got?
All right, it's been a while since I've been on, so I got quite a bit here, but not.
Who is this guy? Who let him on the podcast?
Got in another spring training success. Brewers manager Craig Counsell. Got a couple from him, which puts me at 52% on spring training, so 52 out of 100. Still hoping to get a few more coming in, into the season, so we'll see. I got Larry Bittner. Let's see, here's that one. We got Dion James. Two there. One for the yellow 91 set I'm working on.
For the set.
Yep, and I got this one, which is a dual sign, but the first time I got it signed, this is Dion James here. I got it signed over here by Albert Hall, thinking that was Albert Hall, but apparently it's not. I didn't do enough research, and it's Gerald Perry. So he was on the same team. So hey,
Now it's a team card.
yeah, right. It is a team card. Here's Roy Smith. Let's see, Scott Scudder. Got Will Clark.
Nice.
Bo Allard. So I got 4 of him. Reason I sent for the set. Minor league card.
Is Clark a 1 per?
Yeah, he is. I've
Yeah.
gotten him. It's through San Francisco, but during the season and spring training. But yeah, he's a 1 per.
He's one of those guys that was a borderline Hall of Fame, but he pretty much knew he wasn't going to make it. But he was like pretty popular back in the day.
Yeah, I'm mainly trying to get my my Rangers cards from my Rangers project I'm working.
There was a
on.
lot of Rangers like that. Juan Gaughan's the same way.
Yeah,
Like he super popular. Like you could see if he was elected, it would be okay. Yeah, but like I don't know, they're on the edge.
yeah. Gonzalez,
Rafael
his
Palmeiro.
autograph has changed a lot.
Well,
You know,
Palmeiro.
being from Texas, I've gotten his in person a lot early in his career, and then now it's a way different change. One of the things I've been doing is getting the checklist signed by umpires that was umpires in '91. So I know Troy got his in first, but here's my pair of tatas.
Those are some beautiful tatas. Look at those.
I got Terry Cooney, Mike Riley.
Mike Riley's from
Let's see,
right next to my hometown, by the way.
Greg Kosk, I guess.
Everybody retires to Florida.
Right, yeah. Dan Morrison, Larry Barnett. Here, we'll go this way. Let's see. You got, what is his name? Don Dinker. Wait. Dinker, but he signed on the back. One I got in today, Dale Scott. And then on to football, which is very uncommon for me. I just recently started doing football. And I'm going to start off with Zenon Androzician.
Can you repeat that, sir?
Woohoo.
Zenon Androzician.
Hey, sir, can you repeat that just one more time? Can you?
Can you spell that for me, please?
That one took me a while to get down. Chris Barr, Carl Hairston, and then actually a lot of these cards that I'm showing, I sent off like index cards, and they sent these cards to me, so it's just extras. Mike Lucci, John Capetti, I think. I don't know.
Capoletti.
Yeah, that's it.
You loser.
Deron Talbert. And then we got Mr. Roger Craig. You actually got a couple from him. And then let's see. We'll switch over. I got one through a Mr. Rogers phase. So I got Handyman Joe from Mr. Rogers. See if I can get it all in there. See, I send off bigger pictures than Mike, so it takes up more of the screen. Officer Clemens. Then Mr. Freely himself. Or Mr. McFreely. And then I got a Broadway success from Brian Cox here from X-Men. And then for one of my favorite shows, Deadwood. But yeah, that's a nutshell what I got in the last couple months.
Props, dude. Deadwood's like one of the best shows ever.
Oh yeah, I love Deadwood.
Yeah.
I try and get them out when I can.
Just so you know, John corrected you, Mike. So
Yeah,
thank you, John.
You were wrong. Okay, so we're going to move on to the collector spotlight. And the collector spotlight this week is Henry S. He can be found over at YouTube. We're actually going to post a link right down below. That'll be available on Facebook and on YouTube and on our podcast. So you can just click down below after this airs and you can subscribe to Henry S. Henry is basically a collector of a lot of things, stamps, first day cover, stuff like that, along with autographs. So if you're into that kind of stuff, he's definitely a mega collector. He gets a ton of that stuff in.
He's got a really big NASA collection too.
Big NASA collection, yeah. And he also he's been a fan of the show for a while, so we thought we'd give him a shout out. He's had a YouTube channel for a while and posts pretty regularly, so we thought to give him a shout out on this and give Henry S a subscription over there on YouTube. So again, link is down below for that. We're going to move on to our topic for today, and that is the cure to burnout. Let's try, see. Oh, there we go. Look at that. We're going to line ourselves up for this. The cure for burnout. So everybody gets burnout. It doesn't matter what you do. It could be burnout from anything. Work. People get burned out from work. People get burned out from collecting. People get burned out from making YouTube videos. So we're going to talk about kind of the collecting version of burnout and a little bit about how it starts and some of the priorities when it comes to burnout and the cure to burnout. So the cause of burnout. Obviously, people start and stop collecting all the time. What are the reasons for it, guys?
Well, I think part of it is when you try and like.
There's a lot of reasons.
Oh. Can you guys still hear each other?
I can hear you.
Testing.
I don't hear Mike at all.
Okay. Let me mute Mike and bring him back.
Actually, I don't see Mike either. He's a black box.
This issue again. Okay. That's fine. We're live, guys. What are you doing to us, man? So what we're gonna do is, Mike, you can drop off and pop back in, if that's okay. And then we'll just edit this part out. Technical difficulties. It looks like we may have to find a new stream platform. This is the old if you noticed, our stream was pretty fancy last show, and that was the beta version. How about now? You guys good now?
Bacon double cheeseburger.
Good? Okay. All right. Yeah, this streaming platform definitely has issues, and this is the one that's supposed to work. So
sweet.
We may have to find a different one. Alrighty, guys. So let's start that whole bit over again. Sean says he can see and hear us all. Okay, here we go. So let's move on to the topic, which is the cure to burnout. People get burnout on a myriad of things. You can get burnout on work. You can get burnout on collecting itself. You can get burnout on making YouTube videos. You can get burnout on making a podcast. No, I'm kidding. You would never get burnout on that. That's ridiculous. So we want to talk about what happens why do you get burnout, some of the priorities that may fix the burnout, and obviously the cure that should fix the burnout. So guys, what causes burnout whenever you're a collector?
Before we get started, just a quick shout out to brother DK. What up, DK?
DK's in the house.
DK in the house.
It's DK.
I think burnout happens when you start pushing too much, and you take away some of the fun. When I mean by pushing is like when you feel like you have to get something out. Like I've got to get out TTMs. I've got a stack of photos, or I've got to get YouTube. I've got to get those likes. I've got to get those views. So I keep pumping out content. When it becomes something you feel like you have to do, I think that's when burnout starts to set in, is when it's not fun, where it's more like a job, where you look at it like, I've got to do this, and you just keep doing it, and you're like, I got to get these out. So I think that's where burnout comes from.
So you think it's all frame of mind, kind of like you look at things as a hobby or something you do for fun, and once you turn that switch to something you have to do, it becomes a job.
Yeah, I think the pressure that you put on yourself, and that comes from like when you post on, for me, social networks, and when negativity comes into play too, like for social networks, I'm not posting on social networks right now because I'm burnt out from all the freeloaders and leeches and,
Addy, 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 addy,
yeah,
addy.
collectors are a-holes. My saying is, when you don't post an address or you choose not to do something for a private reason, and you get bombarded with, oh, you don't support the community, we're all supposed to help each other, or addy, 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 nobody wants to put in the work. I think that's taxing. Stuff like that is taxing. That burns you out. For YouTube videos, when you feel like, I've got to get to a certain amount of subscribers, I've got to get those likes. When you start crunching the numbers and not just putting out content because you want to, I think that's where a lot of the burnout comes from.
So I think that would go under a different category, maybe of just extra stress, maybe like just more stress related than actual like feeling like a job. So you got two reasons there. Chase, you got anything on top of that?
Maybe financial burnout. Yep. Just if I know, like Mike and a few of the other ones, they send out a bunch of the 4x6s, so it's one stamp there, one stamp back. But if you get into like the 8x10s, then you're looking at 3 to 4 stamps depending on if you're putting cardboard and all that. So then you're looking at $5 a turnaround, and if you're sending out a whole bunch and then not getting any return, that
disappointment.
I would put that exactly.
Disappointment would definitely be a bigger one. Yeah.
And DK brings up a good one too. Competition. When you look at somebody else's returns, I'm going to use Garrett for a perfect example because he gets in. He used to call them big boppers. I mean, he used to bring in some big names. And when you feel like you've got to compete with that as a collector, if I'm bringing in somebody like Gigi Perel, and he's bringing in a Tom Brady, out on private address, the competition, adds to the stress, and I think you can get burnt out trying to compete with other people too.
Right. Yeah. So I think it comes down to your frame of mind, kind of with all this stuff. It's where you are mentally. I think depression could be a part of it. You tend to be less motivated whenever you are going through depression or just a downward spiral a little bit. Everybody has their ups and downs, and when you're on that downward cliff, maybe you're just not feeling like doing it. You just kind of want to sit and eat Cheetos and watch a movie. I think that definitely plays into it. I think those are all really good, like, reasons people will get burnt out, and a lot of times it's a combination of those. It's not just one. It's all that stuff that feeds into it. I did want to talk about priorities when it comes to collecting, which I think people don't think about a lot. Me and Chase were talking about this right before the podcast. We are big advocates of putting, your family, your income, your well-being above collecting. And some people don't do that. Some people put collecting number one because this is the one thing that they feel like is the release. But in making it your number one priority, it's not your release anymore. It's almost your addiction / downfall. You got to put everything else in front of collecting. I mean, I admire people that collect like massive like over the years, like have massive collections. I admire them, but I would also, like I urge them to step back a little bit and look at things and say, what's important to me? And make your decisions based on stepping back and not just being in the moment all the time and just wanting to feed that drive, because eventually those things that we said will cause burnout will happen if you keep down that road. And there's things that are worse than burnout. There's more extreme consequences that can happen if you keep going down that road, other than burnout.
Yeah, I think somebody starting out in this hobby, if I have advice for them, that this hobby is expensive, and I'm not talking just financial. It costs a lot of time and money, and that can definitely lead to burnout. And you're right. Priorities, I show a lot of returns every week, and this is my release. I send stuff out, but I also take care of everything else ahead of the hobby. The hobby is definitely not number one in my life. You guys have seen Archer in videos. He is number one. I've got a wife and kid, and they are well above the hobby stuff. So I think that can lead to a lot of burnout and stress too, because if somebody has 4 or 5 kids and trying to do this hobby and really be active in the hobby, you've got to step back sometimes and say, yeah, this is not important.
And you can still be part of the community and part of the hobby. We're not saying that, but like, you just have to take into account, like, what am I giving up to get this, hobby, experience this hobby the way I feel like I should. Like, what am I giving up to do that? Now you're giving up time, you're giving up money, and who else is that affecting? So, you got anything on priorities, Chase?
No, that pretty much covers it. I mean, it's, you gotta, line up your priorities.
Yep.
I mean, collecting is fun, and keep it at fun. Whenever it's not fun, whenever you're, struggling to, buy bread and, put milk on the table or whatever, and but you got a stack of envelopes and stuff ready to go. It's there's some priorities that you need to be sure you do.
I'll add to that like, if you make it into a business, it's not going to be a hobby anymore. So you have to realize that, like, if you turn it around and be like, okay, this is going to be my job now, or even a part-time job, maybe you work a full-time job and you want to make some money on the side. Once you turn that corner, it's no longer a hobby. Like, you got to throw that out the window, because you have to do it every day. If you make it into a job, it's part of your income, and that's part of the game, man. Like, once you turn that around, you gotta know what you're getting into. I think a lot of people don't once they do that. They're like, oh, this is gonna be my do what you love. They say you won't do what you love, and you won't work a day in your life. That's what they say, right? Yeah, that's not true. No matter what you love, it's gonna be a job, and you just have to look at it totally differently at that point. So we talked about all the bad stuff. Let's talk about the cures. Priorities is obviously one of the things that comes into the cure category, because if you set your priorities straight, it should help you along that path. But what else can you do to kind of cure burnout? Time off would be obviously one that is obvious. Obviously, one that is obvious is double entendre. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely take time off. Like, there's nothing wrong. You don't have to quit the hobby. You can step back, and that's not an issue. For me, if I get burnout, I try and focus on making my collection my own. I don't get caught up in other people's collections. People can get the Mike Trouts and the Derek Jeters and have all that. I like getting in my astronauts. They may not be top dollar autographs, but it's my collection. So for me, one thing that helps with burnout is I find something I enjoy, and then I broaden it. I don't have to get a Buzz Aldrin. I can find the Countdown guy that was there during the Challenger, and when I get that in, that excites me about the hobby. So you find something that you enjoy, and if you post it online, you may get negative comments from collectors because it is not a top dollar autograph, and you can't, if you're bothered by that, stay offline. That's probably my best advice, because your collection is your own, and make it your own and enjoy it. When we do the case against or something, I go through my binders trying to find something, because we've talked about this. I'm not organized, so I don't know where stuff is. I'm flipping through my binders and I'm like, oh, look at that. That's cool. That's cool. And it's, it's stuff I've gotten in, and, most people don't care about, but it's my collection, and I enjoy it. So that helps me with burnout, that I find something I enjoy and I make it my own.
I would call that a change of perspective, almost like looking at it a different way to kind of refresh your view of the hobby. So how long on burn on we were talking about taking a break. How long have you guys ever taken a break? And if so, how long? Mine was like what's going on 7 years?
I don't think I've had like an extended break. I've taken breaks from social networks, but I'm still collecting. Just because I'm not posting online, I'm still sending stuff out. Might not be in masses, but I'm always finding somebody to send something out. So, if I get one or two out a week and get one back, that's great. And then, there I go through periods where I send out 50, a week. It just depends. But if I take breaks,
volume based.
yeah. So it could be break specific too. Like I said, I'm taking a break right now from posting on social networks. I'm stepping back from that aspect because I'm like,
Great for the show, by the way.
Exclusives. No, this is all exclusive stuff. So, but I'm taking a break from that aspect, but I'm still collecting. So,
yeah. Chase, have you taken many breaks? And if so, how long?
Yeah, I've taken breaks and just let's see, I've taken I took a probably 5 or 6 year TTM break for a while, but during that time I was still going doing IP, going to conventions, going to games, and doing stuff. And I personally like doing the IP better because you're right there in front of them, you're having good time, especially now that I've got kids that are old enough to start enjoying it as well. Like the few NASA returns I get are actually from my son. He's big into space, so we've watched space movies. We would go onto YouTube and watch live space, like watch what's going on live, and so we look up and research people and stuff together, and it's fun. That's what keeps it fresh for me.
Right.
But yeah, there, like, for instance, I sent out 100 TTMs to spring training. That pretty much burned me out. I've done very few current players this year. Normally I'll do probably 20 to 30 at spring training, and then I'll do 5 to 10, a month or so during the season, and that pretty much just burned me out. There's only a handful that I actually sent out during the season this year.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, burnout happens. It happens to everybody. So, I mean, it's just, dealing with it, and one of the things is I may, say I'm done with sports for a while and focus strictly on entertainment or,
right.
know,
that's what Mike was saying. I love that point of view. I didn't even think about that.
If you do something completely different, or, you can mix it up a little here, a little there as you go, and it keeps the burnout from happening. But
you bring up a good factor of burnout that we didn't, the time constraint. You do spring training and you have a limited window to do that. And, if you do via venues, you might have a limited window of a run of a show. So that can add to burnout too, because you're like, I've got to get these out. If I don't get these out, I'm going to miss this window and you're done. So I think a time constraint can lead to burnout too.
I'm a big advocate of learning different trades and different things and kind of expanding your horizons. And I love the idea of, because I've always thinking of, I'm burned out, I'm going to take a break. That's automatically the first thing I think of. But going into a different field that maybe you haven't even tried before, like Chase is actually doing some football stuff.
Right.
Like that's kind of a different thing for you. You haven't done that. So like that could actually add to your knowledge of collecting in a way that you didn't think was possible. I do that with reselling a lot. So like, I'll dabble here and there, and like I know this isn't autograph related, but like garage sale picking, buying in bulk and selling wholesale stuff. Like I could just do one or two here and there just to learn, and that way you are more knowledgeable on the subject. And I think it makes you a better rounded person in a lot of ways. I think that goes for collecting too. People that just collect one sport, you collected that sport for 15 years. A break would probably work. But if you don't want to take a break, you still want to collect, but you just burn out, maybe just try a different sport, try entertainment, try Broadway. And and actually invest yourself in those communities, and you might be surprised in what you find. And it might be a dud. You might hate it, but at least you tried. So I like that perspective a lot. Okay, well, you guys got anything to add before we move on for Burnout?
Good.
That's it. All right, we're going to move on to the ad for our sponsor today, and our sponsor is Slab City. So, of course, Mike, go ahead with the ad.
Slab City. You guys can check them out. It's run by Garrett and his wife, Tiffany. There's a link on our website, Graphers Anonymous, Graphers AA, or AutographersAnonymous.com. Yep. Both of them go to the same place, but there's a link to Garrett's Facebook page, which is Slab City Sports Cards and Collectibles. They run a PSA DNA submission. Usually he does at least one a month. October was a full submission, and that means they not only grade or they authenticate the autograph, but they also grade it. Sometimes they do a basic submission, which was the November, which I got in, and that is just authentication. But go through Garrett and Tiffany over at Slab City. They get a discount because they usually do a bulk submission. So check them out. Slab City Sports Cards and Collectible, link on our site.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. And we're going to move on to the giveaway, which last week we gave away a Brooks Robinson signed 8x10. And the winner is nobody. Nobody. Nobody entered. What the heck, guys? All you got to do is go over and click a button and answer a question. Come on, man. So nobody won last time because nobody entered, man. Crickets. It's all crickets.
So does Autograph for a Cure win that one?
Well, we get like 300, 400 views and listens a show broadly across all of our networks. So come on, guys! All you gotta do is click a button and enter. It's not hard.
Free stuff, man.
It's free stuff. Like literally, you don't have to pay anything. Like you enter it and we send it to you free of charge. But we do have the giveaway for this week. And we're gonna do, and you're gonna see these pop up quite a bit through the show, guys. But we have the choice of either the cast signed 8x10. Actually, I'll put myself full screen here, full screen, so you guys can see. The cast signed 8x10, signed by 6 of us, right there. Or you can get the set that has Topps trading cards. They're custom Topps trading cards. Fun little bits about us on the back. And there's 6 cards in there signed by us. So you have the choice which one you want to pick. That'll actually be in the questionnaire. You can pick which one you want whenever you answer the question. So just go to autographersanonymous.com, click giveaway, and that will take you to the question. And the question is the same question as last week because you guys didn't answer it. If you could have the creepiest autograph you could think of, what would it be? So this was obviously a Halloween question, but I still want to know your answers because I think you guys can get kind of creative. It can be anything you want as long as you allow it in your collection. I know some people have different standards, so get weird with it. Like something signed in blood by a serial killer or something crazy. We want to hear your crazy stuff. And we'll take some of those crazy ones and talk about it on the next podcast. If you guys answer it, if you want free stuff, that is. Again, that's autographersanonymous.com, graphersaa.com. The link's always below us. Click it and enter the giveaway. You got 2 weeks before our next show. 2 weeks, guys. All right, folks. It's time for the case against.
Dun dun.
Special edition.
Special edition. Yeah. Sorry, I do these. The special editions are becoming regular editions, aren't they? So I was butthurt that Henry Winkler did not win the last one, so I made it a priority to make it the case against Henry Winkler today. So back to back case against.
Maybe it should be called Zane's pick.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I run the video here, so I feel like I have like bully pulpit. I'm like, hey guys, we're doing the case against Henry Winkler, and that's just how it's going to be. So this is the case against Henry Winkler, and I'm going to go ahead and get it started. Give me 2 seconds to bring up the video. All right. Henry. Oh, wait. Are we? Yeah, here we go. Henry James Winkler. So this is actually an autograph I got in person, and the reason we're doing this today is because I met Henry Winkler to get this, obviously, and it was a little awkward because I went up to Henry and I said, "Hey, I really appreciate you signing through the mail," and he was like, "Oh, thank you," in a very awkward manner. Now, you would think automatically, yeah, it's going to be awkward because he's at an autograph show charging for autographs, and you're talking about him signing for free. So you wouldn't want people in the line to hear that and, just write to him TTM. Well, there was no one around us. It was a Friday. It was the first day of the con. It was literally just me and him, and it was a very sparse floor. So I didn't think that would be the case. I just thought it was weird that he was awkward about it and wouldn't just talk to me about it. Also, there are a couple variations that I saw in his signature that I wanted to explore further, and I didn't want to do that without doing the case against, because I thought it would be a fun one, and I could have done this myself. Oh, okay. Well, that just went blank. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. Technical difficulties. We may have to find a new streamer here the next show. What the heck? All right. So give me 1 second. Doing the old pause so I can know where to cut. It's making my job a lot of work when I have to do editing. Okay, here we go. So I thought it was weird that he was being kind of awkward about it. I just kind of asked him straight up, I said thank you, and he was like, "Oh, no problem," or he said something that was awkward. I don't remember exactly what he said. So that threw up red flags, and obviously I wanted to do more research, but I held back just for this, so we could all do it together and come out with a final outcome on Henry's autograph. So this is the one I got in person. As you can see, he does have the W. Can we zoom in here? Yeah, there we go. He does have the W in this signature. That is something that is interesting when it comes to signatures coming up. So moving on. This is a book that was signed at a book signing. As you can see, it's got the W, got the longer W, which is actually pretty rare. So that's pretty much the full signature there. That's the best you're going to get from Henry. Here we have another in-person autograph. This is 2009. I believe mine was like 2012, 2011, somewhere around there. So as you can see, the little W, a little bit quicker than the last signature we saw in the book, but it's still there. Another book signature, probably a book signing. This one has the big W again. So you have some letter variation, but not much. And now we get to some in-persons that barely have the W at all. It's just basically squiggles. So you have the H and then the squiggles and then the line at the end. You have some disconnect here, but pretty much all squiggles through. One thing I do want you to look at here is the I. See the dot is right next to the I here on the left. That's pretty irregular for handwriting. You would usually have the dotted I above. And this is something that pops up frequently. I think it was actually, it is the case on mine too. It's basically connected to the left here on is. So as you can see, it's above here. All right. So moving on. I believe this is also an in-person. And this is chopped up a little bit, but the W, if it's there, it's barely recognizable. It just kind of looks like squiggles. A little bit of a breakup. But look at the air. We got the I again. Got the little dot on the I. And we're getting into TTMs here. And I was worried. Here's what I was worried about, guys. This is why I wanted to do this. I was worried about the W disappearing on his signatures. That seems to be a common thing now. It's something he does now, a quicker signature he's kind of formed to. We see this evolution of signatures a lot. And people just evolve their signature. People sign differently in different places sometimes. And it seems that Henry has kind of phased the W out of his signature unless he's doing a book signing, which in a lot of the cases he will do the W. So this is, as you can see, 2009. It's got the W, and everything else looks pretty good. The I is not dotted the exact same, but it is to the left a little bit. Again, these are TTMs. This is his modern signature, guys. You can see the W's all gone. Very quick signature compared to what he used to sign. And this one is the one that tells the whole story. So this is a TTM. And this is 2012. So this is before he morphed into the kind of fluid signature that's all in one. You still have the end of the Y there on Henry. But as you can see, it's a TTM, and you have the dotted I right next to the dot right next to the top left of the I. And that's no coincidence. That's the exact same handwriting. So you have in-persons and TTMs matching up there. And that's just Google. Okay, guys. So what do I think? I think it's authentic. And I had good intentions going in, I was like, I'm going to bust this one open. This is going to bust the community up. Everybody's going to be like, no, my Henrys are fake. But after doing the research and seeing the evidence, especially the handwriting evidence, and seeing characteristics in his signature that over time got sloppier, that is the reason for signature variation. And most likely he was just being awkward at the signing because he was afraid that other people might hear. Even though there was nobody around, I could still see him being fearful that somebody could hear free autograph and maybe not give him the $25-$30 it costs to get it. So that's my analysis. We'll see what the other guys think. Mike?
All right. I got a few things as always, but you pretty much hit the nail on the head, I think, when you said the evolution of his signature. And I think that's what we're looking at here. So let's do this way. This is a PSA certified index card from 1992.
Which means everything, right? They're always right.
Exactly, Bob Dole. But what I'm looking at in the Henry Winklers, this has the W, the little W there. We know it's from 1992 because it's dated. But if you look at most of his signatures, the first H is always a little shorter than the second one. And then very consistent, we'll call it an L on the Winkler at the end. So this one is listed as a TTM from 2004. Very, very different signature. This looks like the example that Zane showed from a book signing where you get the full signature, where he actually writes out Henry and Winkler, two very distinctive, first and last name. But same characteristics with the H and then the looping on the Winkler. This one is listed as a in-person, and now we see the change in the autograph. You start losing the W, but the consistent H, small first tower, larger second tower, consistent loop on the end. Then you showed a very similar one. This is the TTMs that are coming from the address 2019. And you can see the W is pretty much gone. It's just the H looping. But there's the consistent H, small first tower, second tower, and then the consistent loop. And then this is a PSA signed 8x10. And again, no W, but the consistency is there with the other letters. So what I think happened is, as he was younger, it took a little more time, very, very, loopy with his letters, and it had the W in there. And over time, as he gets older, it's just a lot easier, probably signing a lot more rush, and just the W is gone. But I think the consistent 2 letters are that H. It's almost always the same on every signature, where it's, a little shorter, a little larger, and then that looping at the end. He's very, very consistent with that. In every signature that I looked at, those loops are almost, I don't want to say the exact same size every time, but very, very consistent. So I think it is an evolution of his signature over, he's been in the business since the 1970s with the Fonz. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's
maybe the late 60s. I mean, that was his popular character. That was
So you're talking 40 years. He's probably signed millions of autographs in that time, and it's just I think with age, it's just a lot easier and just a lot shorter, and I think that's all it is. So for me, I'm going to say that the stuff coming out now compares to the stuff previous. I think he's been signing legit TTMs for a long time.
And I will add also that if you guys want to do an interesting study into evolution of signatures, his is the perfect one. I think it had 400 and something scans on Star Tiger, which is a great database to use. And you can actually see variations on different places he signs. First, we talked about the book signings. He just takes a lot more time. Sorry, I got just on mic there. He takes a lot more time on his book signings than he does, say, in person, somebody holds something out for him real fast to sign. But if he's at a con, he tends to take his time more and form the W. But with all that being said, with all those differences, you can still see a variation within the years of the W disappearing. So even though there's a sub variation within the year of where it was signed, you can still see a gradual decline of the W throughout the years. So it's really fun to look at if you guys are wanting to do some signature analysis and what happens to signatures over time. That one's definitely a good one. Chase, go ahead.
Well, I totally agree. I think there's you got your differences between a set down paid signing at a con. You have your book signing where you're buying his book. Then you have the TTM, which will be more rushed, which I think like the TTM will also be like you're catching him out of, coming off an airplane or something, like you were saying, just sticking it out there. And I think he's going to give that same quick signature. But yeah, I think if you look at it, even with, without the big W, if you take the W away, it's still, the rest of it still looks the same. I know some of it had like you can see like a little down part where a Y was. Just over the years, I just think he's signed more, and it's evolved. I mean, everybody does it. Well, just about everybody. I think Betty White is pretty much the same. But yeah. I wasn't here for the Betty White one, but yes,
that's right.
I agree with y'all. But
did we do Betty White?
Yeah.
Did we?
Like,
I don't even remember that.
Not the last time, but the time before.
I think we did.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, it was. Yeah, I agree. I think that I think they're good.
Yeah,
I think if you meet him in person, you might get a little bit of a better signature, like at a convention or a book signing. But as far as that, or maybe if you throw a little donation whenever you send your TTM, you might get a little better signature. But yeah, I think they're good.
Yeah, I think the dead giveaway is the inscription. Nobody dots their I's like that. And like Mike said, the H has been consistent through the entire process. Like that's been the same the entire time. The loop is pretty much the exact same. So we're gonna go ahead and give our verdict, guys. So we have definitely authentic, probably authentic, neutral, probably fake, and definitely fake. I am voting definitely authentic. So what do you vote, Mike?
I'm gonna go with definitely authentic also.
Chase?
Definitely authentic.
Okay, we have our verdict. Autographers Anonymous says Henry Winkler is definitely authentic, and that's our opinion. So you take it for what it's worth.
And I think it's been authentic for a long time too. Like Zane was saying, it was cool to travel back in time because there's a ton of scans, and just I think he's been signing, which is cool because he's been a huge name in television for a long time. So it was cool to see.
Yeah, he's definitely up there with Betty White, like the classic TTM signers that have just been just rolling through years after year after year after year. They just keep signing, and they probably had different management that have told them, hey, you can charge money for this, you don't have to do it for free. And they probably brush those people off, and they just keep chugging out TTMs. So it's really awesome to see. There's not many of those people out there. So that's our verdict on Henry Winkler, guys. And that's actually the end of the show. And I want to thank everybody who's watching live that was chatting it up. I appreciate it. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We'll work on those. Hopefully have those fixed by next week. Probably not. Want to remind you guys to go over to our website, autographersanonymous.com or graphersaa.com. Takes you to the same place. Link is down below. Go ahead and ask some questions via, sad Brooks Robinson. Oh, nobody gets that. Go check out Fanatic Feedback on our website. Also enter the giveaway. For the love of God, somebody enter the giveaway, please. And it's promotion time. So, Mikey, you want to take it away?
Sure. As always, you can just check out the website. Zane has done a fantastic job by putting everyone's links for whatever we do on the site except for his. So check out Bargain History. I'll give you a plug because you plug everyone else. But also check out Autographs for FREAKIN. Also, I want to give a quick shout out and show this. Again, Scott over at Reindeer Studios. You can find him on YouTube. You can watch him draw the sketches he has donated. If you want to pause that, you can check him out there. But he's donated a couple things. So thank you, Scott, for Reindeer Studios. And check out Autographs for FREAKIN.
Chase.
Check me out on YouTube, Chasing Ink. I'm gonna have to go get me some Henry Winkler photos to send off now after this episode. So
damn right.
You watch for them coming in soon, hopefully.
Yeah, and Chase has a bunch of cool little features on his YouTube channel. I will add that. Let me focus me over here. Chase has a really cool YouTube channel where he has different competitions with other YouTubers on different subjects, and they'll get certain numbers in for the week, and they compete against each other. And then he also has where he sends off the Q&A to celebrities, and he reads those off as a video. So go check him out.
Every Wednesday, I got a new Q&A.
Right. So check that out. Link is down below for Chase. And for me, it is almost Christmas, as we were talking about at the beginning of the show. And a great gift would be a fabric fob. It's a very unique gift, folks. Get a piece of celebrity clothing and a keychain. Pretty good prices. Got them on sale right now. So go to fabricfobs.com and check that out. And wait, Chase is holding one up right there. Oh, what? Okay, I'll just pull out from everybody. Everybody can hold their stuff up. So yeah, I sent the guys some for promotional reasons. But yeah, go check those out, guys. Fabricfobs.com, and I think that's it. So I guess all we got is you take care, all of you autograph addicts.
Hey,
thanks for watching, guys.